Dear friends, welcome to our webinar. My name is Alexey Ognev, CEO of the DigiU ecosystem. Today we have a special webinar. Actually, a lot has happened this week. Today we will talk about our RWA-Marketplace, and you will see an interview with the head of the Apato project. This is the part of the marketplace that deals with tokenized real estate. Specifically, the part of the marketplace that will start its commercial operation, its technical commercial operation, in just a few days. We will talk about that. I deliberately recorded such a long, detailed, interesting interview with Dmitry Golantsov, CEO of the Apato project. We will talk about how the private sales went. At the time of recording this webinar, they are already closed. Accordingly, I congratulate and I am proud of all those who participated and managed to purchase these first few hundred lucky ones. I am naturally happy that you are using the opportunities provided by the ecosystem and those emerging in your life. Well, we will talk about the upcoming plans for the end of April and May. There are many of them. As we've been saying since the beginning of the year, there are many different events happening in the project every month, and the number of these events is only growing. The sale of shares will be completed in 2 months. We are moving on to the next stage of our development, a more serious, more classic, more relevant one. So, for those who haven't purchased yet, or are considering increasing their installments, getting the maximum number of bonuses, gifts, and everything else, it's time to do it. So, what happened this week? What do we want to highlight the most? First of all, there was a lot of excitement during the RWA project sale, the bank and the marketplace. We expected, of course, that it would be fast, because the allocation is small. But we didn't expect it to be this swift. The bank's allocation closed first, literally in 2 days, even a little less, a day plus a few hours. And accordingly, the marketplace closes a little longer, but still ahead of schedule. And that's great. And right now, at the time of recording this interview, you will see a detailed conversation with Dmitry. I think this will also allow you to delve deeper into the tokenized real estate project. This is part of the RWA-Marketplace project. You will be able to get involved just like we do, being directly involved in all the processes. So, the sales are over. As promised, we gave everyone interested the opportunity to become direct co-owners of RWA projects. And we can consider that the pre-seed round is fully closed. There were several stages of financing and one closed sale. And of course, everyone who wanted to participated and filled their portfolios at the most favorable conditions of the pre-seed round. As a team, we received the necessary financing. Firstly, for the operation of the ecosystem. Secondly, for deals of the venture fund. And thirdly, for the financing of RWA projects. And as we proudly said, we are ready to launch, or have already launched, the MVPs of these projects. Within the bank, we have opened deposits, and in May, an interesting promotion awaits you related to this product. That is, we will give everyone who wants to promote this technical solution or become a client special conditions for a certain period of time. And somewhere around the beginning of May, we will publish these conditions. This is the first interesting news. The number of users of our crypto wallet is growing and has already exceeded 4,000 people. The Launchpad is already hosting its 3rd or 4th sale. I may not even have time to keep track. And what is most pleasing is that it's fueled by an external audience. This includes many advertising campaigns, articles in various publications. And this attracts users to the Launchpad. who will soon learn about other projects in the ecosystem and possibly become, if they have time, co-investors of the DigiU ecosystem. Each project within the ecosystem finds its target audience, finds its customer, earns profits, helps other projects in the ecosystem, strengthens them. And accordingly, this approach is called an ecosystem. This is what we have been working towards for several years now, starting from the idea in 2019 and ending with its technical implementation in 2024. We are very proud of this and continue to engage in this with great pleasure. That is, each project within our ecosystem is an integral part of it. If it manages to go from an idea to a commercial project, it begins to grow with its services, its audience. And all this mutually benefits other projects, making each of our projects stronger. What do I want to say? The number of wallet users is growing. Recently, we posted that AVA project tokens, which were received by our audience through snapshots, that is, as a gift, as a bonus for performing various actions, can be received on WebWise Pad wallets. And in May, we will start collecting these requests. So, once again, open your wallet. It's done with the press of a button. Everything is very convenient. It's done in Telegram bot. In the future, I think in about a month and a half, you will see the development of this wallet. It will turn into a kind of application and will be enriched with additional features. Why am I saying this? In early May, you will have the opportunity to place your wallet address in order to form lists and transfer to you the tokens of the AVA project that you received during the snapshots. Obviously, the tokens will be transferred in accordance with the tokenomics of this project. Therefore, I recommend everyone to study, watch, and see with what frequency you will receive tokens after their unlocking and so on. Still, those who participated in the AVA project sales, you can and should also prepare your wallet addresses for the transfer of tokens that you acquired during the sales in early May. Tokens differ in vesting dates. All necessary conditions will be published on the page in your personal account. So, there are many events. Let's now proceed directly to the interview with Dmitry, the head of the tokenized real estate marketplace. The project is called Apato. Dmitry will tell us about its name, why it was chosen like that, and in fact, share his opinion on the market, and tell us what the project represents now, the very MVP of this project that we've been creating for the past few months. Let's take a look. Dmitry, welcome, and let's start our interview today. Hello, everyone. Great. Let's start with you telling us a little bit about yourself, your background, how you got into the RWA market, into the tokenized real estate market, and specifically, how did you become the head of the Apato real estate tokenization project? If we start from the beginning, I've been working in finance for over 5 years. Then there were my own offline businesses. And since 2017, I've been working in the blockchain technology field. I developed various projects, conducted ICOs, raised over $10 million, including blockchain projects. And now, I saw the trend of tokenization and became very interested in real estate tokenization. Since real estate assets are the largest class of assets in the world, I became interested in how to use tokenization for real estate. Excellent. You've been in the market for quite a while, since 2017, and you can definitely be addressed as an expert. Let's go from the general to the specific. So, there is the market of tokenized assets, what we are used to calling real-world assets, RWA. What is your opinion, as someone who is in this market, not only about real estate, but also about the market in general? Where is it heading? When will it be implemented? How will it be applied? We would be interested to hear your expert opinion on this. Asset tokenization became possible on such a massive scale with the emergence of blockchain technologies. That is, the first real estate tokenization transactions took place in 2017. It was a building in Manhattan for $30 million. But you can tokenize not only real estate, but in general, any assets. These can be tangible assets, such as real estate, gold, diamonds, and so on, but also intangible assets. These are various securities, currencies, everything related to the financial market. This market is really developing. So, if initially the technology didn't have any legal basis, now more and more laws are being adopted, including in the USA and the European Union, which allow the tokenization of various classes of assets, thus creating additional advantages for both investors and property owners. So, if to emphasize, like any technology, it simplifies a person's life when interacting with any type of assets, right? Can we say that? Yes, of course. And both sides win. One side can sell their asset faster, for example, while the other side can significantly reduce the cost of acquiring this asset and diversify their portfolio, owning a part of the asset. That is, without buying it completely. Great. Well, if about real-world assets in general, I think it's clear. Let's now go directly to real estate. So, tokenized real estate. I think all our viewers, in principle, everyone in the world, somehow in their life either bought or lived in that very real estate. This process is understandable to a person. That is, we all know how to buy an apartment, how to sell it, how much time it takes, and so on. What difficulties do we face in solving some issues with real estate? Why did you and the Apato project, first of all, choose the direction of tokenized real estate? And specifically, what problems are you solving in this field? The direction of real estate tokenization was chosen not by chance, because we wanted to focus specifically on tangible assets. That is, intangible assets, securities, and so on. There are already very large players, various funds that are interested and have already begun to actively tokenize these assets for their purposes. That is, in fact, the market that is already populated by serious, strong players. At the same time, the real estate market itself, untokenized, it is one of the largest markets in the world, in principle. And accordingly, since we can already observe the trend of tokenization both in the tangible and intangible asset markets, a large market was deliberately chosen, in which there are many problems that can be solved with blockchain technology and asset tokenization. Is there any practical application of real estate asset tokenization? What does it actually provide to the end consumer? For example, if a person wants to buy an apartment, will it simplify their life? Or do they need to understand some complex details of blockchain and be an expert, for example? Or can they do anything with just one click of a button? How can this be explained? The main advantage for real estate buyers or real estate investors is that we have greatly lowered the entry barrier. So, globally, on Apato, you can buy a share in real estate starting from $50. That is, there is no need to possess capital of $100,000 to $200,000, which is necessary to buy a whole property. Instead, you can buy a share in real estate and actually own that share while receiving the same income as billionaires who buy real estate for millions of dollars. As we gradually move through our conversation, and the word apato, it was mentioned. Let's talk about that. Perhaps we can start with what it means. Why was such a name chosen? And as far as I know, it was proposed by you specifically. And perhaps right now, at the moment of recording this interview, what does this service represent? Is it a website or an application? So, to provide some general understandable picture at the moment. What is Apato? Apato is a product that allows people to invest in income-generating real estate, starting from $50, and become co-owners, receive passive income from renting out this real estate, and have the opportunity to sell their shares on the secondary market at any time. So, in fact, we solve several problems of the real estate market. The first of them is, so to speak, a high entry level. We democratize entry, making it from $50. Second, we eliminate various costs associated with purchasing real estate. That is, we reduce expenses when buying. And third, we essentially make real estate liquid, so it can be sold very quickly. And thus, we also relieve a person of a great headache. Why Apato? Apato translates from Japanese as an income-generating house. And in fact, our service is dedicated to acquiring income-generating real estate. That is, those that generate income from rent. And that's why this name was chosen. Plus, in many languages, Apato or apart, these are such resonant words that people are used to hearing. And it seemed to us that this word would be easy to remember and associated specifically with real estate. Well, here I also agree. That's exactly right. When I first heard it, I had exactly those associations. Now, you've confirmed it. Tell me, please, who is the client right now? I mean, what is the target audience? As I understand it, it's those who are considering investing in real estate and, for example, they don't have the full amount. Because the entry level is indeed high. Is this the only target group, or is there anyone else? Who actually is Apato's target audience? You said it correctly, that yes, there are these direct investors who want to diversify their portfolio. That is, with low investment risks in real estate, to receive double-digit returns. And we choose properties specifically with double-digit returns from rent. But we also have the so-called B2B category. These are clients who represent, for example, financial advisors or real estate market experts. That is, they have their own clients, their own investors who would like to invest or diversify their investment portfolio. They are always looking for new investment instruments to offer to their clients. And we believe that we have a great tool to reduce portfolio risks, diversify, and grow through constantly generating passive income from real estate. And at the same time, the value of this real estate share also increases. So, the total portfolio value also grows. What role do blockchain technologies play? I mean, I think our viewers would definitely be interested to learn about the technological component, about what's hidden under the hood, maybe from your website. So, if we started our conversation with some blockchain terms, RWA, now we've come to simple processes. But what is under the hood? I mean, what role does blockchain play? What role do technologies play? What do they allow us to do? What do they simplify? I guess it's interesting to find out. And maybe some specifics. Like, how does the chain of events go? From the moment I want to buy until the deal is done. Can you describe that if possible? Moreover, before you even wanted to buy, we still have to perform a series of actions. Now I will tell you how it happens. Initially, we choose a real estate object. So there are criteria that we use for selection. We choose a market, a growing market, an area with good occupancy and profitability indicators for this property. We negotiate with the owner that we will buy this real estate, after which we register a legal entity in the United States. It is registered in the form of DAO in the state of Wyoming. Why there? Because the regulation of the state allows registering legal entities specifically in the form of DAOs. What does DAO mean? DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. So, at this moment, blockchain comes into play. We register a certain smart contract in which the value of the real estate property is already included. And what essentially is the process of tokenization? We divide. That is, we issue such a number of tokens with a nominal value of $50 each, so that together they represent the full value of the real estate property. So, this smart contract number is written down during the registration of the legal entity. And at the moment when you want to purchase a share in this property, that is, there already exists a legal entity, already registered as DAO. And by buying this token on the platform, 1, 2, or 10 tokens, it doesn't matter. You are buying a share in the legal entity registered in the United States. When we gather the full amount, this legal entity in the United States acquires the real estate property. All documents are issued for it. And you can see, there will be a statement that this legal entity, in which you are an investor, a co-founder, a participant of this legal entity, owns this real estate property. And blockchain technology not only makes this possible, that is, the scheme where a legal entity is created and a group of investors enters it to purchase real estate has been around for a long time. Blockchain makes this process transparent and possible for retail investors. In other words, investors who don't have large sums of money. And again, all transactions, records of who receives the tokens, who owns this legal entity, participates in the DAO. All of this is transparent. All of this can be seen. In general, everything is transparent. That is, it's impossible to deceive here. And every step, every fund transfer is visible. And this achieves the maximum reliability of such investments. Reliability and, as I understand it, simplicity. It's enough for a person to go to the platform, actually to Apato, and in the single window, see a selection of real estate, choose and press a button. And I think this is something additional. Our viewers should also know and understand that all technologies are designed to simplify life, make it better, easier, more transparent, fair, and reliable. And that's great. Here is another question. Tokenization, real estate tokenization, it's all such a new industry that is just starting to emerge. You, essentially, are at the forefront of this industry. You are creating this market. There are always some problems. When first cars were produced, there were those who were against them. But then they became part of our lives. When the light bulb was created, it took several years, or 10 years, I don't remember, to fully implement it. Quite a lot. Edison was involved in that, airplanes, and so on and so forth. And now it's tokenized real estate. What problems does Apato face when entering the real estate market? When interacting with brokers? I mean, there is probably some lack of understanding of the specifics. Questions like why, for what? That is, some kind of restructuring of processes is supposed to happen. People don't always want to deal with it. As a person who is at the forefront creating the market of tokenized real estate, what problems are you facing now? And how can they be solved or not solved? Or are we not ready to solve them yet? Let's take a look there. You know, problems probably lie not in interacting with partners. Because for developers, in fact, we act as a buyer of this real estate. That is, they don't really need to delve into the process. That this legal entity is owned by, say, 200 participants. So, it doesn't really matter to them. They receive money in a single payment from the legal entity. And all these details are not really interesting. They are concerned about us closing the deal quickly and transferring the money to them. The same goes for users. Understanding blockchain technology, how DAO works, and so on is absolutely unnecessary. In fact, the purchase of tokens is made on the website, and then you can view all documents, track all transactions. And we have all instructions for this. So, the main problems lie in the legal area. Why such a rather complex scheme, specifically in the state of Wyoming? Because there are laws on tokenization there. There is a law on DAO. And most countries create their own legislation. Some prohibit it altogether. Some allow it in principle. But it's difficult to enter there. And there is no unified legal framework where you could clearly, with the same scheme, come to any country and acquire real estate there. So, in fact, we are now working and operating in the Indonesian market. But, for example, if we want to purchase real estate somewhere in the European Union, we will need to develop a completely different legal structure in order to conduct such transactions. And this is the main, so to speak, current problem. Plus, again, the problem from the legal sphere is directly with which countries' clients we can work. That is, for example, right now, we don't want and cannot work with residents of the United States of America. The decision has been made. There are a number of reasons for this. It's also a legal restriction. So, as soon as more laws are passed, as soon as there is more practice, I have no doubt more and more players will enter this market, and it will grow. Excellent. We all see what's happening there with the head of Binance and with other major exchanges. So I think discussions, questions about why this project doesn't work with US citizens at the initial stage, everyone understands. We are recording this interview on the eve of Apato's launch. The first sales. Tell us how it will happen and when it will happen. So, when the first users will be able to buy their first tokens, or maybe even the first property outright. Well, share this information with us, which we haven't announced anywhere yet. We are currently conducting closed technical testing of the platform, and the official launch will be on May 6. Why exactly on May 6? Because we decided to hold an event for real estate market professionals, which will take place in Indonesia, specifically in Bali, on May 6. There will be a sales training. There will be an immersion in the market, why tokenized real estate is the future in general, why it is easier and better to sell than entire properties. And there, we will also launch the sales of the first properties located in Bali. At this event, we expect about 100 real estate agents, agency owners, in order to convey to them first, as our partners, the benefits of our product, and in general, this investment opportunity. You said There will be a launch at this event. Will this be available to everyone? Actually, can viewers of this interview or ordinary people also participate in this launch? What do they need to do for that? At the moment, you can follow our social networks. So, we are going to post all information about the start of sales there. And to be the first to know about which properties will appear, how they can be purchased. That is, to already prepare, to see the properties, get to know the platform itself. You can do it through social networks. Learn a little more about us and actually make a decision on which project to invest in, which property. Well, that's great. There are just a few days left until the event. And I also join in this wish. If you are subscribed to something, if you have taken this action, you always receive information first and have the most advantageous position. Of course, if you also come to this event, maybe you are a professional real estate agent, I think it will be even more interesting and even more profitable for you. Thank you, Dmitry, for this interview. Actually, it was very clear and useful and quite detailed, so thank you. Yes, thank you very much. I really enjoyed it too. We thank Dmitry for such a detailed interview. It was very thorough, technological, and we really had a lively conversation. And we talked about the problems and how the project copes with them. Because every new technology, every new invention, every project always has some period of implementation. And those very light bulbs, without which we now find it difficult to imagine life, also went through their path. And it's always pleasant and interesting and very useful to communicate with such people who are introducing new technologies into life. Therefore, dear friends, watch it again. And what Dmitry asked us to do is actually subscribe to the social networks of the Apato project. Liking and reacting is always important. This always helps, especially on an international level. So everyone, subscribe to Twitter, Instagram and follow. Firstly, for the information, because it's useful for all those who want to be involved, to gain some real benefit from actions related to the development of tokenized real estate, and so on. Everything will be posted there. Therefore, if we are talking about the position of an investor in the DigiU ecosystem, the co-owners of all projects in the DigiU ecosystem, this is an active, correct position, which we always ask of you. Support projects on all levels and everywhere you can. Subscribing to social networks, likes, reactions, reposts, sharing. All of this requires minimal time from you, but it provides the project with a huge amount of benefit. So all detailed information about the project, its launch, about the advantageous offers that will be there for the first participants, all in Apato's social networks. Dmitry has actually talked about the event that will take place in Indonesia on May 6. Obviously, in addition to this event, there will be an investment forum for the DigiU ecosystem. It will also take place on the same dates. And accordingly, we are already preparing for it. And obviously, like in December of last year, after the completion of this forum, we will hold a live broadcast with the latest news, interesting premieres of projects, and accordingly, some statements that we are preparing now. So, expect that on May 8th to 10th, we will have such a general webinar where we will present, share the results of the investment forum, the results of how the marketplace launch went, also plans for May and June. And I remind you, these are the last 2 months before the end of the share sales. There will be even more events than you can imagine. So, immediately announcing the next webinar. And please, make sure to attend it. And as the head of the DigiU ecosystem, as someone who meets with you at webinars, I would like to see the maximum number of viewers, participants in this webinar. So, we will be waiting for you there. The news will be very powerful, interesting. As we like to say, the motto of our company: do more, talk less. So that's it. Let's close the topic here. My main request is for you to come and bring as many partners as possible. Also, tell them about this event that we will have firstly taking place in Indonesia. And if you are there, I invite you to this event and to the webinar, where we are going to share the latest news and super cool plans for May and June. What else I would like to remind you of is the increase in the share price. Regularly, every month, we have an increase, and on May 1st, it will be more significant. If before, we raised it gradually, with the launch of new projects, the launch of MVPs of the projects, the completion of some development cycles, funding cycles, obviously results are visible, and the share price is always increasing. So, if you are thinking about a new package or wanted to wait for something, this is probably the most correct and convenient time to enter the DigiU ecosystem and become an investor, a co-owner of all ecosystem products, receiving many bonuses in addition to dividends, which we have already paid out 5 times. So, the price increase from May 1st, the launch of the marketplace, and the investment forum with cool news, which awaits you in early May, are the main points I wanted to share today. Thank you for today's meeting, and take care.